Episode 1. Now, Tuesday, October 3. If you drew a straight line from my apartment in San Francisco to Berkeley, it would only be 10.5 miles. But even in the best commuting window, it takes more than an hour without a car. I caught a bus at 6 this morning. I say 2 BART lines and another bus. I look down at my watch, 7:30, not too bad. Sabrina wipes a smudge of foamy milk from her upper lip as much as she understands my avoidance of cars. I know there is a part of her that thinks I should just power through it and get a Prius or Subaru like any other respecting Bay Area resident. Don't let anyone tell you are not a saint. I really am. You made me leave my bubble. But I say it with a smile, and I look down at her tiny daughter on my lap. I've only seen Princess Vivian twice, and she seems to have doubled in the size. Good thing you are worth it. I hold babies every day, but it never feels like this. Sabrina and I used to live across dorm room from each other at Tufts. Then we moved into an apartment off campus before quasi upgrading it to a crumbling house during our respective graduate programs. By some magic, we both end up on the West Coast in the Bay Area, and now Sabrina has a baby. That we are old enough now to be doing this. Birthing children, breeding is the weirdest feeling ever. I was up at 11 last night with this one, Sabrina says, looking at us fondly. Her smile turns bright at the 80s and 2 and 4 and 6. Okay, you win. But to be fair, she smells better than most of the people on the bus. I plant a small kiss on Veep's head and tuck her more securely into the crook of my arm. The cup feels strange in my hand. It's ceramic, not a paper throwaway or the enormous stainless steel travel mug seen fills to be the brim for me each morning, assuming not incorrectly that it takes a hulking dose of caffeine to get me ready to tackle the day. It's been forever since I had time to sit down with the actual mug and sip anything. You already look like a mama, Sabrina says, watching us from across the table. The benefit of working with babies all day. Sabrina is quiet for a breath, and I realize my mistake. Ground rule number 1: never reference my job around mothers, especially new mothers. I can practically hear her heart stutter across the table from me. I don't know how you do it, she whispers. The sentence is a repeating chorus of my life right now. It seems to boggle my friends over and over again that I made the decision to go into pediatrics at UCSF in the critical care track. Without fail, I catch a flash of suspicion that maybe I am missing an important tender bone, some maternal break that should prevent me from being able to routinely witnessing the suffering of sick kids. I give Sabrina my usual refrain of somebody needs to, then add, and I'm good at it. I bet you are. Now, pediatric neuro, that I couldn't do. I say and then pull my lips between my teeth, physically restraining myself from saying more. Shut up, Macy, shut your crazy babble mouth. Sabrina offers a small nod, staring at her baby. Viv smiles up at me and kicks her legs excitingly. Not all the stories are sad. I tickle her tummy. Tiny miracles happen every day, don't they, cutie? The subject changes rolls out of Sabrina, loud enough to be a little jeering. House petting planning coming. I groan, pressing my face into the sweet baby smells of Viv's neck. That good, huh? Sabrina laughs, reaching for her daughter as if she's unable to share her any longer. I can't blame her. She is such a warm, shapeable little bundle in my arms. She's perfect, honey, I say quietly, handing her over. Such a solid little girl. And as if everything I do is somehow heart-warming to my memories of them, the raucous life next door, the giant chaotic family I never had, I am hit with a nostalgia of the last non-work related baby I spent my real time with. Its memory of me as a teenager staring down at a baby Alex as she slept in her bouncy chair. My brain leapfrogs through 100 images. Miss Tina cooking dinner with the swaddle bundle of Alex slung against her chest. Mr. Nick holding Alex in his beefy, hairy arms, staring down at her with the tenderness of entire village. 16 years old George trying and failing to change a diaper without incident on the family couch. The protective lean of Nick, George, and Andreas as they stare down at their new, most beloved sibling. And then, invariably, my mind shifts to Elliot, just beyond or behind, waiting quietly for his older brothers to move on to their fighting or running or messing things, leaving him to pick up Alex and read to her, give her his undivided attention. I ache missing them all so much, but especially him. Mace, Sabrina prompts. I blink. What? The wedding? Oh, right. My mood drops. The prospect of planning and wedding while juggling through 100 hours a week at the hospital never fails to exhaust me. We haven't moved on it yet. We still need to pick up date, place, basically everything. Sean doesn't care about the details, which I guess is good. Of course, she says with a false brightness, shifting Viv to covertly nurse her at the table. And besides, what's the rush? In her question, the twin thought is very shallow buried. I am your best friend, and I have only met the man twice for sake. What is the rush? And she's right, there's no rush. We have only been together for a few months, and it's just that Sean is the first man I've met in more than 2 years, 10 years, who I can be with and not feel like I'm holding back somehow. He is easy, calm, and when his 6-year-old daughter Phoebe asked when we are getting married, it seems to shift something in him, propelling him propelling him to ask me himself later. I swear, I tell her I have no interesting updates. Wait, no. I have a dentist appointment next week. Sabrina laughs. That's what we have come to. The only thing other than you that will break up the monotony of the foreseeable future: work, sleep, repeat. Sabrina sees this as an invitation to talk about freely about their new lives. The first smile of the baby, the first belly laugh, and just yesterday a tiny fist shooting out with the accuracy and firmly grabbing her mama's finger. I listen, loving each and every normal detail. What that really is, it's a miracle. I wish I got to hear all of her normal details every day. I love what I do, but I miss just talking. I'm scheduled today for for noon and will probably be until the middle of the night. I'll come home and sleep for a few hours and do it all over again tomorrow. Even after coffee with Sabrina and Babe, the rest of the day will bleed into the next, and unless something really awful happens, I won't even remember a single thing. As she talks, I try to absorb as much of this outside world as I possibly can. I pull in the scent of coffee and toast, the sound of music rumbling beneath the bustle of the customers when Sabrina bends down to pull a pacifier out of her diaper bag. I glance up at the counter, scanning the woman with the pink dreadlocks, the shorter man with a neck tattoo taking coffee orders, and in front of them the long masculine torso that slaps me into acute awareness. His hair is nearly black. It's thick and messy, falling over the top of his ears. His collar is folded under one side. His shirt tails untucked from a pair of worn black jeans. His vans are slipped on and faded old school check print. A well-used messenger bag is slung across one shoulder and rests against opposite hip. With his back to me, he looks exactly like thousand other men in Berkeley, but I know exactly which man this is. It's the heavy dog book tucked under his arm that gives it all. There's only one person I know who reads Yvonne Ho every October ritually and with absolute adoration. Unable to look away, I am locked in anticipation of the moment he turns and I can see what nearly 11 years have done to him. I barely gave a thought to my own appearance. Mint green scrubs, practical sneakers, hair in a messy ponytail. Then again, it never occurred to either of us to consider our own faces or degree to put togetherness before. We were always too busy memorizing each other. Sabrina pulls my attention away while the ghost of my past is paying for his order. Mace, I blinked to her. Sorry, oh, sorry. What? What? I was just babbling about diaper rash. I'm more interested in what's got your. She turns to look to follow where I've been looking. Oh, her O doesn't contain understanding yet. Her O is purely about how the man looks from behind. He's tall, that happened suddenly when he turned 15, and his shoulders are broad, that happened suddenly too. But later I remember noticing it the first he hovered above me in the closet. His jeans and his knees, his broad form blocking out the weak overhead light. His hair is thick, but that's also been true. His jeans rest low on his hips, and his ass looks amazing. I have no idea when that happened. Basically, he looked exactly like the kind of a guy we would ogle silently before turning to each other to share the wordless I know, right? It's one of the most surreal realization of my life. He's been grown into the kind of a stranger I would dreamily admire. It's strange enough to see him from the back, and I am watching him with such intensity that for a second I convince myself that it's not him after all. Maybe it could be anyone, and after a decade apart, how well do I really know his body anyway? But then he turns, and I feel all the air get sucked out of the room, and I have been punched into the solar plexus, my diaphragm momentarily paralyzed. Sabrina hears the creaking dusty sound coming from me and turns back around. I sense her starting to rise from her chair. Mace! I pull in a breath, but it's shallow and sore, somehow making my eyes burn. His face is narrower, jaw sharper, morning stubble thicker. He is still wearing the same style of thick rimmed glasses, but they no longer dwarf his face. His bright hazel eyes are still magnified by the thick lenses. His nose is the same, but it's no longer too big for his face. And his mouth is the same, too straight, smooth, capable of the world's most perfectly sardonic grin. I can't even imagine what expression he would make if he saw me here. It might be one I have never seen him before. Mace, Sabrina reaches with a free hand grabbing my forearm. Honey, you okay? I swallow and close my eyes and to break my own trance. Yeah. She sounds unconvinced. You sure? I mean, swallowing again, I open my eyes and tend to look at her, but my gaze is drawn back over her shoulder again. That guy over there. It's Elliot. This time her oh is meaningful.